In a previous insight, we spoke about something called the L-curve, which we would encourage you to listen to if you have not already done so. For it is a secret key which we have given you for your self-development that decodes how modernity works, which is not how we wish it would work. For through all of history, his story, extreme morbid wealth has always and will always reveal and corrupt. It's also a foundational aspect to the problems of democratic society because it gives a tiny amount of people who are not honorable and frankly hostile to democracy so much influence via power. America was founded with an enlightenment view of getting away from mentally ill psychotic kings and asshole oligarchs of old Europe, because that was an outdated societal operating system which sucked for basically 99.9% of everyone, and the American founders knew that oligarchy and democratic society were absolutely diametrically opposed. Historically, based on income, classes were separated into peasants, workers, nobles, and monarchy or royalty. To simplify that, we'll now say that 99.9% of the people who don't have private jets and yachts and have to actually work for a living, the horizontal line of the L-curve, are the proletariat, while the 0.01% of insanely, morbidly rich people, the vertical line of the L-curve, are the bourgeoisie or oligarchs. It's a sad reality that most Americans can't afford an unexpected bill that costs the approximate same amount as a new computer. If you're not in that camp and are quite well off with, let's say, a few $1,000,000 and are even first world rich, you are still part of the proletariat and far from an oligarch. A democratic republic means a government elected by the people to represent the people. That means all the people. The majority of the proletariat with the teeny tiny amount of bourgeoisie, in which we elect representatives that are to enact laws that benefit the people. Yet if 99.9% of the proletariat don't have the majority of the money, what does that do to society? It sends us back to medieval feudalism of old Europe, with the modern version of which is a third world style dictatorship by skewing society only to speak on behalf of the corrupted, mind-rotted oligarchs and their crony dictators they install, not the people, in which you have elected representatives comprising the three branches of government, as well as the fourth estate, the fourth branch of government, with all corporate media owned and influenced by the oligarchs, who pretend to represent the people in what they say, but in reality what they do sell out to the interests of only the teeny tiny few who have all the money, over the interests of the people. In the most free and least corrupt countries in the world that have the most democratic freedom, there is a strong, unionized, working middle class and thus strong labor force and strong governmental social services, which are in the Goldilocks zone of not completely fostering dependency, yet still preventing the bottom from totally falling out for those towards the bottom of the socioeconomic ladder, so we don't end up with homeless tent cities along the sides of highways. In the least free and most corrupt countries in the world, dictatorships, there is a massive misdistribution of wealth where 99.9% of the people are dirt poor with no middle class, only living in shanty huts or tent cities. And the 0.01% of the rich have all the money owning their own private estates and skyscrapers, and we're back to feudalism. This is by far most easily fixed through sensible tax policies. For the most free and least corrupt countries in the world have sensible tax policies, while the least free and most corrupt countries in the world have unsensible tax policies. And we'll get into what those policies are in the next one.